Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. Hot or cold, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success Chronicles.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And I'm excited to have Miss Paola Gorman on with us. Great lady doing some great things in education for a while now. And just so excited to have her on and highlight her and share her journey. So first, thank you so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles.
Thank you for inviting me. This is very exciting. I don't get interviewed very often, so appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk to you.
Well, let's go.
All right, let's
Let's
do this.
go. Well, I know your background, know your journey. We're in some similar circles, and been seeing you and supporting you from afar with the amazing work that you've been doing for years and giving back and giving service and education. But if you don't mind, just share your story with the audience, kind of a little bit about your background and kind of track your story to now so people have an idea of who you are and what it is you do.
Oh, well, thanks. So just a little bit about my story. I think, it's everybody's story, right? Overcoming challenges, and we all have different challenges. But one thing that I think is important is I was born and raised in Mexico, and I moved here when I was 17 years old. This is back in the 90s, 2001, and so when I moved here, it was a big culture shock, and not knowing the language and being in a high school. For those who may not remember, we didn't have Google, we didn't have a phone to Google, so it was a
No doubt.
different times.
Yeah.
But I grew up. I have three brothers, and my father left when I was very young, so I grew up in a very unstable home, moving a lot. My mom trying to make ends meet as we
Hmm.
were growing up, just to give us the best life that she could. She eventually married, and I have a stepdad who is the father of my two younger siblings. But it was a very important point in my life as a teenager, having to leave everything I knew behind to come to a new country with a new language, and that those challenges are what shapes you. The fact that, and I can say this now, people who are undocumented, the challenges they have to overcome just to go to school, just to go to college when they graduate from high school. When people ask for a social security and you don't have one. So that was a very, challenging road for me, but it actually shaped who I am and how I wanted to give back. There have been many instances in my life where I have felt like all of those memories and all of those things that shaped me have come back, and I can now give back to, the community because of where I came from.
So good.
And I decided to be a teacher, but I never thought I was going to be an administrator. So I went to college. I paid for my school. My mom couldn't afford to pay for school. But I decided I want to be a teacher. I want to make a difference in people's lives. And very shortly after I became a teacher, I knew that I wanted to do more. So I
Hmm.
started getting into, being a coach and being, going back to school and being an administrator. Whenever I was 30 years old, I became a principal. I was very young and naive. And at that point in my life, I was still having babies. So I was pregnant. And
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but at that time, First of all, I didn't know what I was doing. And it was all new, and I had a new staff, and I was when I was offered the job, I found out I was pregnant. And
Mm.
so I was like, how are you going to do that? You have no experience, you're pregnant, you're going to take maternity leave, all of this is going to happen. Well, you know, things happen for a reason. That was another point in my life where, those challenges were happening. A week before we're set to come back to school, my first year as a principal, I have a stillbirth at 34 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And so I come back a week later because it was the beginning of the school year and they had a new principal. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know what to do. So there has always been something, a roadblock or something. But I think one of the things that I was taught very young that, you have to look forward, you have to move forward, and you have to make sure that, you don't live in the past. And, my mom is a very strong woman, and my faith, growing up, you know, my mom being in an abusive relationship, all of those things, my faith has carried me through.
Mm.
I feel very blessed
Yeah.
to be the daughter of a king who's taken me by his hand all throughout this setbacks and this career stepping stones. So now I'm in a different position. I have worked for the district for 17 years. I have been in the same district, but I am married. I have 3 children. I'm able to give back. My nephew's living with us. I'm raising another baby, even though he's not mine. He's just like he's mine. And I am a community outreach director, and I'm able to give back to those kids who are homeless, who need pregnancy-related services, those kids who are migrant students who have mental health issues, families who need resources from the community. And so it's been a great journey. When I look at the end, I feel like
Mhm.
my life has helped me become who I am and has
Yeah.
shaped me to be that person of service to others.
I love that. Isn't it great when um you can experience some things in your life, and at the time those things are like the toughest things, the toughest challenges, ever, right? I mean, and they are, the things that you
Yeah.
had to go through, they are. But it's great when you can be in a position to where you work and you put yourself around people that support you, and then you get to a place to where you can give back to people that are going through the same thing that you've been through.
I tell you,
Ah,
there's no pay, there's no salary
yeah,
that
yeah.
can, reward you for what I do. And when I see those families finally get dental care, or they haven't been
Mm,
to the dentist in years and they're in pain, or, just little things like that, that you understand because you were there. It was either paying the bills or going to the dentist. There's nothing that compares to that. And I think my job, not only is it, community outreach, but to me, it's a ministry in some
come
ways.
on.
And I think that of all educators, if you're not in it to serve, then this is not for you, because
Yeah.
you need to look at it that way.
Yeah, it is. In my family, we're faith, and I don't even know if you know this, but like I'm a fourth generation educator. So mom, grandmother, great grandmother. So come from a background of I tell people educators and church folk
Yep,
with no
yep.
L's. And
That's
so
right.
I would hear them say, it's a calling, right? To be great at being an educator. It's a calling. And so, I wholeheartedly believe that. I didn't know what they were talking about until I got in it. And then I
Right.
saw that like it requires some things that you go above and beyond of yourself to be great at it. But just like I was saying, when you pull from those things, like you said, what that pain is like to not be able to go to the dentist, or you know what that pain is like to not know, man, are we gonna eat tonight? I gotta make sure I eat at school,
Right.
like all of those things. because you've experienced that, and it's a true blessing to be in a position to be able to help people that you know, like they don't have to say anything to you, you
I
know,
know.
right? Like, and
I
that's what
know.
like you know, no, I got you. Come on in, let's go. Come on, I got you.
It's funny you say that. Even when my kids come home and they're like, "Mom, can you believe this?" And they have no,
Yeah,
they have
no
no
clue.
point of reference,
Yeah.
because they have been so blessed. And so I'm like, that's my job, to educate them to know how blessed they are, because they don't have to go through that, and how
Hmm.
they need to value what they have. But it is interesting that, when and there's no questioning when somebody tells you their story, and you just connect instantly, and you're like, it's going to be okay. We're going to
Yep,
get through this.
I got you.
That's
It's
right.
good. Well, what are three things you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Yeah. Well, I thought about that, and I think one of the things that I'm most proud, like I told you, is my faith. And I
Hmm.
think growing up without a father, it was very hard for me. I was an only girl, and you're supposed to be daddy's girl, right? You don't have a daddy. But I think one of the things I have accomplished, and to me it's an accomplishment, because I have become stronger in my faith. And I feel like, all of that trauma and all of those experiences, not having a father, have gotten me close to my faith. And that is by far my biggest accomplishment. I feel connected, and I feel like I have a relationship with God, and that's huge for me. And I would say, second one is creating that family I didn't have. I can't tell you, I look at my husband and I'm just like, you're such a great dad. Like, I'm blessed. My kids have a roof over their head. They don't have to wonder where the next meal is going to come from. We don't move. We have been in the same zip code, for
Yeah.
17 years. They don't have to have the worries. And to me, I don't take all the credit, because my husband's a wonderful man. I couldn't have done anything without him, but it's an accomplishment. And that I'm very proud of. I can look back and say, I did this for my kids. They have a family, they have a place, they have safety that I didn't feel like I had growing up.
Hmm.
And then definitely, professionally, I have been able to serve and give back in all my different positions throughout the 17 years I have been with the district. So I can't tell you of a single thing that I have accomplished, but I'm the first doctor in my family, or the first one with, a higher education. So that to me, it's a big accomplishment. But more than anything is how I'm utilizing that leverage to give back.
So good. So good. Well, just hearing you, talk about your journey, the things that you've been blessed and fortunate to achieve, the things that you're proud of, I would consider that to be hugely successful. So let's hit on success. What is your definition of success?
Oh goodness. You know, you can't define success as one thing. I feel like success is a daily challenge. And for me, I'm successful when I serve, when I get to help somebody, when I impact somebody, when I, you know, do a good deed. So I think success is a compilation of things that you do throughout your life,
Hmm.
because that's where you leave your footprint. And I feel highly successful right now because of the things that the lives that I have been able to touch as a teacher, as a principal, now in my position. So I'm very successful. I can't put a definition, but I can tell you success is giving back, and it's leaving your footprint daily. And it may be a small thing that you do, but they will remember you. Maybe a smile to somebody that needed that smile, maybe. And those things create success in a way that you can't quantify, you can't earn. You just do it because you know that's what's right, and somebody will remember it. And I can't tell you the amount of people that will see me at the grocery store, and they'll be like, Miss Gorman, remember you helped me register my child, or remember that I didn't have this. And I'm like, oh, I probably don't, but I know I'm successful because they do. And I can tell you I am a very successful person now in my life because of those things.
Mm. I agree with you. Leaving your footprint daily. So good. Well, what I want to do now is just, if you don't mind, just kind of off script here, throw a few words or phrases at you, and you just talk about like what comes to mind or to heart when you hear these words or phrases. You okay with that?
Sure.
All
I'm
right. All right.
ready.
Let's get it. All right. So the first one we'll do is living and learning.
I think that's what we do. We live and learn. And I think uh, a phrase or something that I would advise and something that I tell myself is, as you're living, you need to learn to forgive yourself, learn from it, and move on. It's the hardest thing to do, to forgive yourself. You often blame yourself. So living and learning, you live, you learn, but you got to forgive yourself and move on. Whatever mistake, whatever it is, if you can't forgive yourself, you will be stuck in it. So that's what comes to mind.
That's true. So true. Especially when you're a mover and a shaker or someone that's striving to do great things. A lot of times, we get caught up in the, man, what are you doing? And beating yourself up. But we have to get over it and say, hey, man, I blew that. What am I learning from it? All right.
And
And so
that's the
now how do
thing.
I move on?
The more that you do, the more mistakes you're going to make, because you can be brave and you can do things. And that's what we want of kids. That's what you want in a classroom.
Yeah.
You want all those mistakes, you want all those conversations, and you want the same thing, the same philosophy you apply in education. We want kids to experiment, to make mistakes so they can learn. That's what we should expect of ourselves. We're not perfect, but we're going to forgive ourselves and move on.
I love that. The more you do, the more mistakes you're gonna make. That's good.
Yeah.
That's so true. All right. The next phrase I want to give you is the impact of influence.
um it's powerful. You are what you do. You are you know how you behave there. And if you want somebody to work, they need to see you work. If you want somebody to do more, you give more. And I think there are ways to influence great work without telling people what to do, because I think it's easy to tell people what to do, but it's harder to influence. Who are you and why do I want to follow your vision? Or who are you and why would I want to do what you want to do? So the power of influence is greater than any directive, than any time that you tell somebody, this is what we need to do. Your influence shapes your vision, and nobody is going to follow your vision if you don't have the power of influence. So I think it's powerful, but I think it's also hard to get to where you're in a position of influence. And that comes with people knowing that you are genuine, that you have the same goals, that you have the same vision, that you are there for the right reasons. And that is not easily accomplished. I can tell you that. It's a struggle.
Big facts.
Yep.
Big facts. All right. So the last one, when I give you this one, I'm gonna pause a little bit. I normally tell this one, I say, "Hey, this the good one right here." Like one
All
that we,
right.
this the good one right here. So the last one I want to give you is legacy.
Oh, legacy. My children.
Mm,
My children are what I hope to live. Once I'm gone, I hope that people look at them and they see me and they continue to do things the way that we raised them to be. And that they continue to be Christ followers, and that they continue to do and serve. So they're my legacy. I think people may not remember me when I'm gone, but they will continue to do the things that I showed them that was right and that they needed to do, because who they are. And, you know, they're my legacy. They will always be.
good deal. Well, as we close, I'd love for you to get an opportunity to share with the audience where they can go follow you and check you out and show you some love with all of the amazing things you have going on.
Sounds good. I have a Twitter as Dr. P. Gorman, so you can definitely follow me there. I'm also on LinkedIn. Just look for me, Paola Gorman, Paola Gorman, and the same thing on Facebook. So I would love to have people on Twitter. I'm not very good at social media. I'm trying to get better, but I do post from time to time. And, of course, if you are part of the Conroe community in spring, you'll probably see me around. But, anywhere else, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, that would probably be the best thing.
Awesome. Well, again, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to interview with the Success Chronicles. Truly appreciate it. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you, Chip. It was really good to go back and reminisce about my life. And I
Yeah.
just, I know what a great person you are. And
Thank
this
you.
was really awesome. Thank you for letting me share my journey with you and everyone that follows you.
Of course. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Had a blast. And I think, the journey, sharing the journey will truly be inspiring to some people. It was very inspiring to me. So thank you for that. And
Thank you.
keep doing your thing.
Sounds good. I'll see you around.
All right. And thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.